I really am hoping to write after, like, little late
I hope
night.
so too.
He's asleep, so
Because you owe me more. Like
I'm
how,
so
I
excited.
mean, we'll get into it in a second,
Yes.
but like how rude to give me 5 chapters and then just
I'm
ghost
sorry.
me.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise there's more.
What's fine?
It's always so nerve-wracking when you put, because you pour your heart and your soul into all of this, right? And then you're like, here, take my heart and tell me what you think about it, right? And so I think there's
Please
always
don't
that
break it.
nervous. Like, please give it back to me intact. No, but it's funny because I do think there's a place for, hey, this didn't really hit for me, right? And this is
Yeah,
why it didn't hit for me. And I think that's a completely valid response. I think sometimes people get afraid to like hurt an author's feel. Never be afraid of that. I think for me personally, right? Because it's actually really fun. Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you a really funny
please.
story?
Absolutely.
When I was a kid, my favorite book of all time was someone else's one-star read. And here's how it happened, right? We're in the cafeteria. I'm with like my one of my friends, and she like throws this book on the kitchen table, the lunchroom table, and she's like, this thing is so stupid, like I can't get into it, right? And she's just like going off about how much she hates this book, and she's like, it's about this girl and she's being abused, and like all of these things are going on, and I'm thinking in my head like, this is exactly what I want to read. So everything that she was naming as to why she hated this book and why it wasn't for her was every reason that I needed to devour it. And so I was like, oh well, I'll return it to the library for you, like not wanting to be like that weirdo. It's like, no,
Maybe.
seriously, right. And so I did. I returned it to the library, and immediately my number one favorite book of all time.
What was the book?
It is called Looking for Home, and it's by Jean Ferris. It's out of print. It was, I think, published in like the 80s, like late 80s, early 90s. But that book is the sole reason that I became like an avid reader. Like it really is the reason that I started consuming books to escape. And it's honestly a big part of the reason why I started writing. So you never know?
That's that's amazing.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about how we met.
Yeah.
Um, I don't I don't remember if you like commented on something of mine. I'm not sure. But I remember going to your grid and seeing a reel and watching this reel and immediately just being like, I need my hands on this.
I'm
Um,
so happy.
so I'll have to go find out which one it was. But like, I'm serious. I saw it and immediately I was just like, I need this book. I need to know who this person is. I want to be her friend. And sorry, now you're stuck with me.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but all that to say, like, I wanted you on here. You don't have a book yet, right? Like it does not
Yeah.
exist,
It does
right?
not exist yet. Yeah, it's
But
literally you are watching it being built from the ground up as we speak.
and and that makes me so excited. Um, like this is one of my first opportunities to like talk to someone in this stage. And that really excites me.
I
You already you already know like I love hyping up authors. Um, and I I just have a feeling, and I don't know how much my feeling is worth, but I want you to know that I have this feeling that you are one to watch. And I'm so excited to talk about like where you are, how you came up with this, what your plans are. So let's get into it.
let's do it. Let's do it. I'm
um,
so excited.
okay, so the thing that hooked me and made us friends was the premise of the book, which isn't even like it's not one book, it's gonna be a series. So, I, floor is yours.
Jump
Tell
in.
us,
Okay.
tell us about it, all the things.
Yes. So the first book, it is a series, right? But they're independent stories. And so I've called it the Gem Collection. Book number one is actually Sapphire Ridge. And the way that that came about is a whole story, which we'll get into later. But essentially, what it is I thought, how cool would it be to have five independent books that all touch on five different really valuable questions of the human condition, right? And so Sapphire Ridge touches on when truth and loyalty sit on complete opposite sides of the room. Who are you, right? When the stakes are high, we all like to think that, like, I'm an honest person or I'm a loyal person.
Dude, I
Okay,
have goosebumps. Sorry,
what,
keep going.
what happens when you have to choose? And what happens when the stakes aren't something as simple as, like, oh, I broke that vase, right? What happens when it's somebody died? And what happens if it's your family member, right? And so Sapphire follows a young woman by the name of Marianne. And Marianne comes home after 5 years. Marianne has a lot of trauma and a lot of things that she's holding on to from her life that caused her to leave. But she comes back into this really toxic environment. And her mom is this loving, all consuming human. And, she loves her kids fiercely, but that love can be suffocating. And so she's thrown into this world and then can't
Don't spoil
exactly,
it.
right? Can't exactly cover up. There's something that happens. And so without giving away too much, she has to decide, am I the person that I think I am? Or am I exactly who my family bred me to be? And in the midst of that, she's got some romance issues that she's got to
Yeah.
work out. And so I'm really excited to bring that to life. But there are five books that we talked about in the series. So the first one is Sapphire Ridge. Each of them are named after a different gem. Book number two is actually going to be called Opal Cove. And then that one's going to deal with a completely different question. Book number three is set to be Emerald Harbor. Book number four is Ruby Canyon. And book number five will be the culmination of these five kind of interconnected worlds, and it'll be Diamond Bay. And so hence the gem collection.
I love it. It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay, so I have like 1,800 questions. Okay, do you already have all five, not like plots, but like all five human conditions planned?
Yeah, so the
Okay,
five main questions are all rooted, and they actually are all related to the gems themselves. So like rubies are, passion and fire, and so that's kind of a little hint there. So each one of them have a different theme. I even toyed around with making them all different genres, and I was like, no, like no, you can't do that, Ash, you can't do
do
that. So,
that.
but I did toy around with that idea.
What genre would you consider this?
Oh man. Okay. So I know some people really hate the term like women's fiction, but I do feel that it is a very like women's fiction with gothic undertones, right?
Okay,
There's this feeling of beautiful things that are really rotting underneath the surface. And so I think all five kind of hit that same kind of feel. Um with romance, there is some sexy time all
all
up in
right.
there. So
Okay, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I just to let you know though, so like I'm a mood reader. It's not a secret. I lean heavily suspense, thriller, mystery.
yes.
Um, and so I feel like a lot of the stories that I gravitate outside of the genre still have to have something. And I'm telling you from the first five chapters that I've read, it has that something, right? Like it has me wondering like what the heck happened. And to me, like I think me as a reader, that's enough of a suspense mystery to like be the gateway drug to the rest of the book.
I
Um,
that.
so I mean, I've only read five chapters, but well done.
Thank you so much.
um,
That means so much to me. I honestly cannot tell you how much that means to me. There is definitely a little bit of a suspense thing
yeah,
that happens there, and it kind of snowballs from there. And so I love that you that you picked up on that, like, oh my gosh, like what happened here. And so I can't wait for you to like really see what happens in this story. This poor girl.
I'm,
Bless her.
I'm really excited. Yeah, I do feel kind of bad for her.
Yeah, that's such a huge thing for me. That's what I want people to take from this, right? Like, I want them to be able to read this story and go, oh, I saw pieces of myself in there, or I saw, or I felt, right? Like, that's at the end of the day, that's what I want readers to do. I want them to feel something. And whether it's, I felt annoyed with the character, I felt angry with the character, or I saw myself in a character. Like, at the end of the day, that's what I want readers to take away from it and to
Well
leave those
done.
messages. Oh,
You
thank
did
you.
it. We need to talk about the elephant in the room that we haven't gotten to talk about yet, and that is your characters' names. How does this happen? Because I just happened to notice that the main character's sister's name is Avery, and I have an Avery, and I didn't get the chapters until after we met. So I'm just wondering, like, is she named after my daughter, or did we have the same process? And did you name your characters the same way that I chose the name for my daughter? How did that happen?
Okay. So I have a book.
Oh my god, I love that you brought the book.
I brought the book because I wanted to show you guys this process, right? Like, I'm unhinged. I write everything down and I don't use like 90% of what's in these pages, but the stuff that
But
I
you never know.
do, you never know. So when I was doing Ruby, right, and I was trying to come up, the main character's name was actually, I don't know if you can see it.
It's
Her name, it just
backwards, I
says
think.
Woman One.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Avery. And then, because originally the sister's name in Sapphire Ridge was Callie Joe. And it was just
Mm,
so hard to read Callie Joe over and over and over. And I was
yeah.
like, okay, this isn't, it's not hitting for me. So I stood at my door and I was like, Avery Sinclair. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's the one. And so
I
it was a
love
lot
it.
like the process of like naming a child, right? Like, can you yell it in a way that you're like, oh, yeah, no, that hits? And then the other really weird, probably thing that I do is I make a family tree.
That's not weird. No, that's not weird at all. I I love that.
So the names have to go together. Like, you can't just have. So as you can see, I crossed out so many options. And then I was like, no, it's got to be Avery. So yes, back in May, um, I think
Before we
shortly
met,
before you and I met, I was
okay,
like, yeah, I'm going to change her name to Avery. So I had to go through my whole manuscript and
and
literally
change.
change every single time that the name Callie was in the manuscript. Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out. Well, I get to
I
like
did it.
chapter 10 and be like, who the hell is
Who's
Callie?
Callie? Yeah, no, that's for sure bound to happen. I'm sure I missed it
Okay.
somewhere. So,
I'll let you know if I see it.
but that's
Um,
the process.
okay, so you yell their names just like I yelled mine. Avery Quinn just rolled off the tongue when you're using mom voice. And
It
I was
has
like, all
to
right, I'm
roll.
sold.
Yes, it has to roll, and it has to be a name that is easy for readers too. Sometimes I'll come up with like these really intricate names. I'm like, no one's gonna know how to pronounce that. That's ridiculous. Like,
Sure.
cross that out. And
You're
even
not
if you
writing high
like it,
fantasy.
yeah. Yeah, no. You know what though? I recently read my first high fantasy and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I like this. So
I
yeah, it's
mean, as
been
long as you're okay with the names in your head being blah, 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 like,
sometimes I shorten
yeah,
them.
stories are
Yeah,
great.
I've had to shorten them. Yep, I've had to do that because I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce this. So
Where are you right now in the current process? And then I guess if you don't mind, if you know, like what comes next.
oh, okay. So I'm in that second draft kind of area. What comes next is betas. I need beta readers at this point so that yes. So
Sorry.
that I can start lining them up to kind of send that out and get that feedback. Here's where you lost me. Here's where the pacing slowed down. Here's, all of those bits so that I can kind of perfect it and then get it to an editor.
Do you have one?
I don't.
Okay. No,
I'm
that's
shopping. I am editor shopping. So if anybody has like editor recommendations, please send them my way. I am beyond open. Definitely want to invest in that piece. And I don't know, really what comes at that point after that, because I am still not sure if I'm gonna like try to publish this myself. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just completely honest. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm kind of making it up as I go.
yeah.
And trying to figure out, am I going to self-publish? What is a query? Like I'm figuring this all out in real time. So people are watching me make a lot of mistakes in real time.
I mean, awesome. Other people can learn from you. You're not making any mistakes that are going to like just don't delete the manuscript and you're good, right?
Oh my gosh. So my
Stop it.
manuscript, I had a panic attack. My entire
I'm so
manuscript
sorry.
disappeared. Like 3 days ago, I had a mental breakdown. My husband recovered it, but it was gone. It was gone. I couldn't find it. We couldn't. It was a nightmare. It was my biggest nightmare come true. Yeah, but we
All
recovered it.
right. So we're also going to save a copy and email it to me every time you make changes.
I
So it's
literally
always
bought
in your email.
like an old
External hard drive.
school like USB external
Yeah.
drive, and now I back it up every single time I make a
Okay.
save. I back it up. It was the worst 30 minutes
I
of my
can't
life.
even
I was like,
I can't even imagine.
it was horrible. I cried hysterically. He was like, we'll get it, we'll get it. I'm like, it's gone. So, but it's back. We're good. We're good.
Okay. But also like after we get off this, I won't read it if you don't want me to, but like send it to me in an email so that it's like saved.
So sweet. Oh my God.
I I never delete any emails, so
It
it would
was
be,
It
be
was
saved forever.
horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will never do that again. That was a lesson that I learned the hard way. So if you are out there and you think it's backed up, like back it up again, save it on something else. Yeah, I would never want to wish that on anybody.
Ooh, okay. So I'm assuming that we can look forward to a post from you eventually about things I've learned so far. Don't make the
Oh
same
yeah.
mistake.
Yeah, don't make the same mistakes I did. These are things that I absolutely would not recommend anybody do, and things that I absolutely recommend everybody do. So I was really nervous about starting this, this page, this kind of Instagram, and putting something out when it wasn't complete. And I got to tell you that the community in like the book world is just so supportive and so awesome. Whether it's authors, artists, readers, like it's awesome. It's been such a great experience. Like 10 out of 10 recommend doing that.
We need to tell people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come join our cult.
Come join.
Um,
We have snacks
we
and
do
book
have
recs.
a lot of snacks. Snacks and book recs and some childhood trauma.
I think I'm just so nervous that I'm like gonna do it incorrectly. Like, that I'm,
That's that's
you
fair.
know, and
Yeah,
again, I think it's trial and error at this point, right? Like when when you go to publish, do you get a copy? And I'm still trying to figure out how all of that works. Like, oh, do they show you your cover first, and all of those things? So just kind of working out those little details right
yeah.
now and trying to figure it out as I go.
It's gonna be a party. I'm so
It
excited to learn more
is.
about
It
like this
is.
process. It's always fascinated me. It's like, cool. Step one was write the book. Now
Done.
you've got eight more steps. Super productive of this book. I'm really invested.
Thank you so much.
The words itself are absolutely fantastic, and I can't imagine you messing that up.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, but that's why I want you to self-publish because I want you to fully own it. And um, I don't know. I worry that's the one thing that I worry about, right? With traditional publishing, sometimes like you're put in a position where you have to make a change that maybe you don't want, but if you want to go trad, that's what you have to do. And
Yeah,
I selfishly don't want you in that position because I love it.
I
Anyway,
appreciate that so much. I think, and I think both journeys have like such a valid, like, either one is great depending on
absolutely.
that person and kind of what they're trying to accomplish. I do agree. Like that is one of my biggest fears is that, I create this thing and I'm really proud of it. And then they're like, okay, trash, 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 throw this out. We need to change this. This isn't going to work. And then I'm kind of stuck in this place where it's no longer mine and it's no longer who I wrote it for, right? Because at
And
the
it's
end of
not
the
the
day,
story you wanted to tell.
and it's not the story that I wanted to tell. And so at the end of the day, I'm writing for those people who have had to deal with, either a toxic parental relationship where they've had to deal with feeling like they were not enough, right? And that they had to bend and break and become something that they really weren't, and kind of having to discover who that person is. And I would hate to change the heart of that, right? I'd hate to change the overall message that you are enough, right? And so I think yeah, exactly. Finding the right people, that's what's most important. Absolutely.
I hope I'm not giving anything away right now, but there are a couple spots in the chapters that you sent me where it was like insert insert fancy 2018 Mustang facts here or ask hubby. And I laughed so hard. I'm sorry if I'm ruining anything for anyone,
No,
but
not at
I
all.
mean, it's not a major plot anything. Or it was like find flowers native to Asheville, and I'm just like I am so here for this right now. Um,
Okay.
just make sure you remove them. But okay, but
Yes.
my actual question
Yeah.
is, what is the weirdest Google search you've had to do for these books?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm on a watch list somewhere. Like I can guarantee that there is an FBI agent who's assigned to me. My husband jokes with me all the time that he's going to get pulled into a van. They're going to be like, "Sir, you're in danger." Because the things that I have Googled should be concerning to anybody. If they picked up my laptop and were like, "Oh, latest Google search," and they read it, they would be like, "Hi, I have an anonymous tip." It is concerning.
Okay, well, don't
The
feel like you need to limit to one then,
Okay,
because we can
one
use the
of the
rest of our
weirdest.
time if you want.
Okay, so quick anatomy lesson, really quick. You have a hole right here in your
Yes.
skull. Okay, it's called a fossa, and that fossa, for those of you who don't know, has like a major nerve that runs through there. Okay. But if you lift someone's lip and you were to inject with a very tiny needle right in there, it would be virtually undetectable. It would be something that you would have to look for.
Similar to In Between the Toes.
Yes. So,
Sorry.
so there's a little fossa that's right there.
Okay.
Um, I Googled if you inject into the fossa, is it into the mandibular fossa or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Would it be detectable in an autopsy? What? Why would you need to know that, ma'am?
For a book, of course.
For a book. And my husband would have to be like, no, 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 she's a writer. And they'd be like, oh, she's a writer. That's cute. She's trying to murder you, sir. So, so then I had to, when someone passes away though, their body naturally releases potassium. It's like a cellular reaction that your body has,
Yeah.
right? Okay, cool. So then my next
Potassium
Google
chloride
search,
is perfect. Why do I know that? I'm so sorry. I should go.
it's all those late night like forensic files.
You know
This is
what?
where
Maybe
this
you
all
should
stemmed
stop
from.
Googling. Stop Googling and just ask me.
I might have to at like 3 in the morning. Like, hey, what happens if? But
Anyway, continue.
so your body releases all this potassium, and so I Google searched, if I inject potassium into somebody, will that kill them? The answer is yes. That's all I can say for now. So
Fair.
those are probably the most concerning recent Google searches, but I've looked up things like what kind of plants grow in, North Carolina in October, like specifically, right? Because I have to be as accurate as humanly possible, which is probably just a weird quirk. Like readers aren't going to be like, peonies don't bloom in the spring or don't bloom in the fall, but I
They
don't know.
might.
It's just, they might. I did. So,
all it takes is that one person to be like, this is not geographically accurate, and
yes,
then you're canceled.
exactly.
So,
I'm very canceled for flowers. So I.
or 2018 Mustang facts. That's super
Listen, it
important.
has to be, well, because I didn't want to make up a car, and I know nothing about cars. So I'm like,
Yep, yep.
ask husband about that. And I didn't want to interrupt the flow. So you'll see a lot of those like brackets where I'm like just
I love it.
typing
Yeah.
feverishly, and then I'm like, ask about this later and make a little like side note.
Where did all of this come from? Like, did you wake up one morning and you were like, yep, I'm gonna write the gem collection?
I wish it was that. I wish it was that. So no, we actually have to go all the way back to 2018.
Okay.
A natural disaster came through and it completely destroyed our home. Like my husband and I had to start everything over. We had a 1-year-old, and we had evacuated to the mountains in Asheville. And we really didn't know what we were coming home to. We just knew it was bad. We knew that the coast in North Carolina had been hit horrifically. Um, and so I had all this like grief and I had all this anger and all of this like pain, and I really didn't have anywhere to put it. And I had my laptop, and we had rented this like Airbnb, and it was literally nestled in the mountains of Asheville, and it was surrounded. It had like this outdoor porch with a swing, and I was sitting on that swing. I had like my son in my lap, and the real town is actually called Sapphire. And it's this beautiful, like small town. And it was just so amazing and so cozy. And it just gave you all of these feelings of like safety in the midst of all of this chaos that, I had no control over. And I sat down and I started writing. And it allowed me to like really reach down and into some childhood things. And Marianne carries a lot of me. She does. LJ is her mom. She carries a lot of my mom. I love her. But there's a lot, I think writers, there's a quote by Ernest Hemingway that says writing is really very simple. You just sit down at your typewriter and allow yourself to bleed. And that's kind of exactly what happened. I just allowed myself to start bleeding onto these pages, and Sapphire Ridge was just kind of born. Now, the rest of the gem collection came because I was like, oh, what a cool name, like Sapphire, a gem. And then I was like, I wonder how many other towns are named after gems. And so I'm like Googling, like, how many towns, have gemstone names. And Diamond Head in Hawaii came up, and that's like it's one of their mountains. It's not necessarily the name of the town, but I was like, how cool would it be to have a series of books named after gemstone towns, even if you have to make them up, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then be part of something called the Gem Collection, and each one has like their own individual color scheme and like their own individual personalities and these things that are kind of tied to their gems. And so that's how that all came about.
All right. Well, thank you, Sapphire. Look, guys, I'm a person. I have a pet. Okay, so when you're writing, obviously, like that first round was just kind of like poured out of you. Now that you're doing the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you outline or do you free write?
Okay. I wish that my brain could outline. I wish that I was the type of person that could sit down and be like point A to point Z, and this is everything that's going to happen in between. My mind just doesn't work like that. And so I literally open the laptop and just start going. Recently, however, I saw somebody do something really, really cool where, and actually, I think Corinne, she has like a wall, and it's got like
Mhm.
all of the plot points. She has like her plot wall, which I think is amazing. But I recently sat down and was like, you know what? You at least need to know where you're going with this. Like where are we headed? And so now what I do is I will start to write, but then I'll start jotting down notes of like, okay, this is what I want this chapter to end on. Here's what question I want answered by the end of this, or this is the question I want the reader to have by the end of this. Um, I try to put myself in like, I try to put my reader hat on, right? Of like, what would make me go, okay, just one more chapter. Like, what is it at the end of this chapter that's going to make me go, okay, it's 2:30. I can push it to, 2:45, 3 o'clock. And so now I kind of try to jot those things down. And so I get like a vague idea, but a lot of the time I don't even end up following it because I'm just like, the characters take over. They're like, no, no, this is our show now. You're just typing. We're going to tell you what we're doing. It kind of just develops that way.
Hey, whatever
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Um, music or silence?
Depends on the mood. I have a Sapphire Ridge playlist,
Um,
which I'm going to
okay.
share.
Yes. I would like to put it in the caption of the YouTube video.
Yes, I have. It's
Okay.
got like 30 something songs, but and I add to it constantly,
No, I'm so
because
on
like a
board.
certain scene is like it's accompanied to that song, and so a lot of the times I'll play that Sapphire Ridge playlist
To like get yourself in the mood.
to get myself in that mood. I've
Okay.
actually thought about compartmentalizing it by character so that as I'm writing for that character, I can get into their state of mind, and kind of go from there. And that kind of helps. That helps me as I'm switching voices, right? Because I need those characters to sound different, right? Because they're different people. And so their voices have to come across differently. And one of the biggest things for me is sound and smell. So
Olfactory is a huge, yeah.
I do this really weird thing. You guys are gonna think I'm so stupid. You're gonna be like, this girl's such a weirdo. I have different candles and different scents for different characters. And so when I'm writing for that character or I'm writing about that character, I'm trying to get their perspective, I smell that like candle. And it takes me somewhere completely different.
I'm gonna be such a smartass right now. Um, does does Reed smell like cedar and sandalwood?
Ah, smells like pine.
Oh, of course. Okay. All right. I was close. I was close. The
Yes,
pines of Asheville. I got it.
yes.
Okay.
He smells like pine and oh
I
yes.
wanted to know if it was like one of those cliche scents, and it is. And I'm here for it. I'm here
I
for it.
love
I just
listen.
needed to know.
I love a cliche. I want to
Yeah.
beat a dead horse. I
Yeah. Let's do it.
love
Yeah.
like
Let's do it.
surprise
I'm all for the
pregnancy.
tropes.
I'm here for it. What's she gonna do? Like I need to know. So I love to hate. I love to hate tropes. I do. Smells like lavender and musk. Mm.
Yes.
So yes, they definitely have their own individual scents, and I have to get like my little
have you thought of redoing these scents yourself and then and then making your own candles and then putting them in PR boxes?
friend. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. There's a girl.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about candle wicking, soy. I
I actually do, weirdly enough, but anyway, keep going.
okay. Well, I met this girl at a like a festival.
Yeah, like
She's a
a
local
fair.
vendor. Yes,
Yeah.
and she makes her own scents. And so I was gonna actually contact her and be like,
Yes.
hey, how would you like to create a signature scent for this book? And then every book would have like their own signature candle set.
Yep.
And I would send it in like the arc, box, like the PR box, the scent, and then like little things. So like dragonflies are gonna play a huge part in Sapphire, like to the point where I can't even, I cannot even, but dragonflies are going to be really, really big. And so I thought like a cute little dragonfly necklace or like, all those little things. I've thought about giving you scratch and sniffs. Okay, listen, what if, from a reader
A
perspective,
scratch
okay,
and sniff bookmark.
for each chapter, or for like when you
Yes.
get to a certain point, you can,
Yeah.
and then you can live in my process.
Yes.
So
Yes. So like the bookmark, it's like, okay, so it's like the watercolor, you know, how the watercolor palettes, right?
yes,
But it's a bookmark and each one is a scratch and sniff. Yes. On board. Yes.
what
Scratch and
if?
sniff bookmarks. I'm on board.
Yes, and then it tells you like, you know, when she's talking about her mom, and it's like her mom smells like honey and lavender, like you just, now you know what her mom smells like. Like you are also hugging LJ. Um, no, but I thought, okay, as a reader, and you guys can tell me in the comments if you think this is ridiculous or like you just would not be about this. But what if there's a part in the book where she has to open a card from one of her love interests? This is a total love triangle. So if you know you love to hate that trope, this is for you. But in the next page, like when she goes to open the card, instead of you just reading what it says, you have to physically open a little envelope and you get to read the card. Is that unhinged? Is that dumb?
It's no, it's not dumb. I think
It would be a nightmare to put that
you
together.
I think if
Or like,
these sell the way that I plan on making them sell, you are going to be super overwhelmed stuffing envelopes into the middle of books. But I would say that you should definitely do that as part of like a PR stunt.
I'm trying
I
to
think that'd be
figure
super cute.
out like how I can make that
Limited editions, yes.
limited editions. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a
You
way
like
to
make
give
it
like
like an
an immersive.
interactive read. And
Yes, I'm
I
trying
love
to.
that. Like
Yes.
the script, you've got the olfactory thing going on. You get to open the letter with the character. Like I think that that's
Yes.
awesome.
Like here she is, this beautiful moment is happening, and it almost feels like it's happening to you. And look, this book is written in first person present tense. I know some people cannot stand that. But it just, it's like this immersive experience, and that's what I want for the reader. I want them to just be completely enveloped in this book, and feel like, wow, I can really understand why she's making the decisions. I don't love the decision that she made, right? Or I love this decision. I totally get why she's doing it, you know, but I would love to have like little things like that throughout the book, where instead of just reading about the note, you open it and you're like, oh, this is a love letter to me. Like this is really your book boyfriend now. You are in a relationship. You can go ahead and just make it Facebook official.
Oh. Oh, so I get to be Marianne.
You would be opening it. I mean, it's your letter. Like, you know, you're reading it. It's
Yeah.
from him to you. So
I yes. Let's mull on this.
I have to figure out
Um
how to make this work. I
yeah.
have
No,
to.
it's super easy. You just I mean print the letter in the book, fine, but you also just stuff the letter in the book too. You
Just
can get it printed with handwriting and yeah,
and
we got
just
this.
scented
Yeah.
letter. Yes, I love that idea. So just
Lavender
a
and musk.
scented letter. All right, we're getting carried away.
Author physically put a letter into this book with the intention that I experience this moment. And that is huge. Send me
So,
some books to stuff letters into. I got you. I'll
yeah.
help. What's your favorite color?
Green. Green is my favorite. All shades. It doesn't matter. It can be like neon green. I love highlighter green. I love sage green, deep green, forest green, all the greens. Give me the green.
Okay, how do you this is I mean it's not like make or break important, but like it's important to me.
Hmm.
Um how do you feel about like I call it puke green, but it's like pea soup green?
Like baby pea soup. Yes. Okay, listen, I don't hate it. I don't hate
Okay,
it.
okay.
I think it
That's my
has its
favorite green.
place. I think it has its place. It's a
Its
good
place is in
color.
my life. Yeah. Okay. All
All the
right.
greens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am. Wow. Okay. Really, really fate. Green's my favorite color too. Um, Coffee or tea? I'm assuming coffee, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to correct me if I'm wrong.
I am a coffee girl. I like tea. Tea's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but
But if you got to choose,
I will take all the coffee. I think it's because when I was 3, my mom used to give me what's called café con leche, which is coffee and milk from the time I was literally a toddler, which is probably why I'm only 5 foot. So
Your caffeine addiction started early, huh?
it sure did, and I think that's why it also doesn't affect me. And I can have a cup of coffee at 8:30 p.m. and then go to bed. So
That's
definitely
crazy.
coffee.
Um, are you cream and sugar, milk and like, do you put anything in it?
I put everything in it. I need
Okay.
all the sugar. I can't drink it black. Okay, I really can't. My husband will drink his black. Like he doesn't need to put anything in it. I don't know that I necessarily enjoy the taste of coffee as much as I enjoy the experience of coffee.
Same page. We are on the same page there. We're good.
I love the taste of creamer though.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the
Um,
color. I don't know if you guys can see
no,
that.
yeah, yeah.
That is the
Nope.
color of my
It's
coffee.
more creamer than coffee and I love it.
100%.
Maybe that's why you can fall asleep at 8:30 p.m. There's no
Like a
coffee
drop
in
of
there.
coffee and everything else is creamer.
Do you want some coffee with your
Just a splash.
creamer? Oh my gosh. Um, okay, and then what is slowly becoming my signature question that I've purposely avoided asking you? What is your go-to pizza order?
I'm gonna get canceled. This forget it. Book's done. No orders. I think
If you say anchovies, I'm out. Okay,
pineapple belongs on pizza. I don't care what anybody says. I will die on this hill. Pineapple and ham belong on pizza together in holy matrimony. They are never to be separated. I love Hawaiian pizza, but not with bacon.
Hawaiian. Hawaiian pizza is the best. It does need to be ham instead of bacon.
It does. It needs to
I
be
can do
ham.
I can do Canadian bacon because it's not like you know what I mean. It's like a consistency of ham.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like crispy bacon with pineapple. Nope, ham.
I will die on that hill. I love. There's something about the sweet and the salty and the savory, and it's just, it's so good. I love pineapple on pizza.
Well, I'm
There, I
not
said
canceling you.
it. That's my big confession, you guys. I am a pineapple girl.
Let's close out with what is the biggest compliment that a reader could give you?
Man, I like dream about the day that I have like a book signing, and I get to like hug somebody. Truly, like I'm that excited. I'm obsessed with my readers. Like I am obsessed with them. I think about every little thing that could possibly impact them, everything from like trigger warnings to everything. um, I think I think the biggest compliment they could ever give me is that they felt something, literally anything. It could be I felt like I understood this character, or I felt seen, by these words, or I just felt really angry, or I felt really annoyed. But if it caused you to feel something, then I did my job.
I love that. So far, I feel something. If that's
That's like the big, I mean, that's just right. Like that's the point. We
yeah,
sit down and we tell these stories, and we search our hearts and our souls and our brains, and we cry about it, and we throw the laptop, and we're feeling all of the things as we're going through all these motions, and we're writing all these things down. Um and so for somebody to say, I read your words and I felt something too, like that is, I mean, that's the best thing that I think I could ever hear from somebody, for sure.
I love that. I love it.
Yes.
Um,
Oh,
okay, well, those of you that are still here, if you're not already following Ash, you probably should because this journey, I don't want to say it's just getting started, but like things are coming. Um, I guarantee you she's gonna have to look for ARC readers. So if you want to be informed on everything going on with the gem collection, you should probably follow her. Um, I'm really super psyched for this book. I've never beta read before, so I feel like I would be a crappy beta reader, but I selfishly I'm just gonna say that I'll do it because I want to read it before everybody else does. Um, I won't give you any meaningful feedback. I'm just going to tell you how much I loved it. But we can pretend that it's meaningful. Just don't,
I
just
read
get
some.
more beta readers than just me.
There's an author who's like, they actually have a beta reader whose sole job is only to tell her how great she is. Like, that is their assignment. You
I
are
got
only
it.
to give me positive feedback, and then everybody else can rip it to shreds. But like,
I can do that.
her job.
I would be so good at that job.
Listen, I'm a natural cheerleader. I feel like I would be
Yeah,
such a great beta reader, and just like all I can do is tell you how amazing you are. Yeah, no, I would 100% do that. There
got
is
you.
one thing that I did want to talk to you guys about because I mentioned it in my page, which is trigger warnings. And I I guess I just wanted to tell you like where you can find those in my books, right? Because I don't want anybody to go into these books thinking like, oh, they're just like this light, because they're not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Um, and so anybody who does pick up a copy, there is a trigger warning like index in the back. I was having a conversation with one of my best friends, and she was telling me like, um, you know, what are your thoughts on this? Like, what do you think about, your trigger warnings? And I was telling her, well, I want to let readers know, hey, this is going to cover these things, but I know there's a lot of debate as to it being a spoiler for some
Spoilers.
people, right? And so for my book specifically, you can actually go to the back, and she was like, why don't you do an appendix? I was like, that's freaking genius. And so it's actually in the back of the book. So if you don't need them, that's fine. You don't have to go and look for them. But I never want a reader to pick up a book on something that could be very, very detrimental to their emotional, mental, or physical well-being, if they don't have to. I would rather somebody go to the back of that index and go, oh, this touches on these subjects and it's in this chapter on this page. I either need to skip it or I need to put this book back altogether. And I would 1000% rather a reader put my book back and never pick it up than to ever have to have an emotional, physical reaction to something I wrote, that they were not prepared for. So that is just little disclaimer there. If anybody
The
ever
amount
needs.
of consideration that you've given readers is just like even more so. Like it makes me want to read your books.
Also want to talk about like how heavy the content will be on there. So maybe I'll put like a rating system
A
or something, just so that
scale,
a scale of like
yeah.
it's heavy or it lightly mentions it, so that
Mention.
they exactly, so that they know like, because everybody's level is different as to what they can deal with and what they can't. Um, and so as somebody who struggles with anxiety and PTSD myself, there are certain topics that I have been blindsided on in a book and had a full on panic attack, right? And so I just would never want that to happen to someone. And so, yeah, it'll be right there in the front. They can go to the back. If you need it, it is there for you. And if you don't, that's fine. Skip it. But it's accessible if it's needed.
That's fantastic. Well, as always, I love talking to you. Thank you so much for spilling the ink with me. This was The Plot Thickens with Sarah and Ash.
Seriously, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for talking to me about this. Thank you for IMing me. IMing? Is it IMing or DMing? I don't even know. I'm so
I
old.
don't know.
Thank you for the universe for like bringing all of this together, and thank you for everybody that listened and joined us tonight. We just appreciate you so much, and thank you, Sarah. You are amazing, and I'm so thankful that we met.
No, you.
No, you. Oh, go on.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your night and have a fantastic
Yeah.
holiday.
Bye. Seriously.